For the mosaics project, you'll need to open up the Taiyasu sketches, and then there's this layers button up in the upper right hand corner. When you open that, I first want you to make 3 extra layers by clicking on the gear and pushing duplicate. That's going to give you 1 layer, and then do it again for a second layer. Notice there's an opacity there too. That will make that whole layer lighter or darker. Notice where the red line is. That is the layer that you are on, that you'll be working on at the time. You can switch to each layer, but you have to know which layer you are on. If I am going to insert a photo, I'm going to click on the 3 dots up at the top, and then it is going to open up some tools to download a photo. So you're going to click the Share down. This is going to allow you to either open up your photos or take a picture or get one from your files. Most likely you have it in your photos. Then you're going to choose the photo. I'm going to do this one of my dog Monty. Once I click on it, it brings it in. I want to make sure I'm in my lower layer, and then I'm going to click the check mark. That's going to put it in the correct layer. I want you to see what each layer is going to be. The top layer that you made is where you're going to be putting your shapes in. The next layer down is where you'll spill your color for your background. I'll show you that later. That's going to be the last thing you do. Your photo is going into the third down. We're basically going to ignore the bottom layer because the bottom layer doesn't move. You can't change the opacity. It's just really to change the paper that would be used. So you can make it work like a watercolor paper or cardboard or something different. So this is what it's going to be like. Now, when I am going in to my photo, first I want to make sure I have the color that I'm going to use. So down here at the corner is where you would click to choose a different color. There's all kinds of things you can do here. All the colors are shown there, but every one of these you can change the color to exactly what you want. You can hold down the color and then it brings up this screen. In this screen, you can change it to any color you want. At the bottom, I can slide it back and forth to choose any color in the spectrum. And then in the square, as I move the circle around, it's changing the color to whatever one I want. You can see on the left was the color it was, and the right is the color I'm choosing. Now choose the tool. You're going to click on the lasso tool. This is the spill tool that you will be using later to spill in the background. So I am going to go in very close, and I'm using my lasso tool to make my shapes. So I'm going to go in here, and I don't have to make triangles. They can be squares, they can be circles, they can be any shapes that you want to do. Sometimes I just use the triangles because I can fit them into little places, but you're going to see later that I also use rectangles and things. I'm going to change my colors to get lots and lots of different browns and tans. I'm going to have reddish browns because he's a tricolor corgi, so he's got lots of different browns in there. If you want to see what it looks like, click the little eyeball so that it goes away so you can see what you've got going there. This is the final piece. You're going to see this again after my second video, but I've zoomed it in, I've done a background color on it, and we're going to start talking about tips for troubleshooting. So make sure your layers are unlocked. We have found this does not work well if any layer is locked. Make sure that you can see the eyeball, the pupil in the eye. Also, make sure you haven't accidentally changed your brightness. And then you also want to know what your opacity is. If you click on the gear, you can see your opacity and all kinds of different things in there. So just a reminder, this is what each layer is going to do.